I want to talk to Mike. He calls us from Long Beach, listening on the 25-year-old 25th anniversary KKLA. Bless you. God bless you. Thanks for being here. How are you?
Oh, outstanding. I called you guys a couple weeks back, and my marriage, 14 years anniversary was yesterday. And the question, we've got your book. It's called Mr. Yurkovich. I want to thank you very much. We got to page 23. But when we hit page 5, can I read it to you? It's just one sentence that I'm curious.
Sure,
to know
read
what it
away.
actually.
Go ahead.
Okay, the physical nearness of your mate triggers old feelings as you look to him or her to meet many of the needs your parents were originally supposed to meet. Now, do I understand that there are some needs? It makes sense that there's needs that our parents did not meet, and those are the needs that we're looking to have met in our mate. I don't understand that.
You are going to get a detailed explanation, Mike, and I'm really glad that you called.
Well, I think Steve and Sherry could give a good answer on this as well. Mike, we are products of our families of origin, and when we have a hole or a place that's missing, we will seek to have that met in other people. If we don't know what those are, then we can have the wrong things propelling us into adult relationship. And so our past literally dictates our present. So really what we're trying to say is that your past relationships set you up for success or failure in adult relationships because you either have desires or reasons for pulling together that sometimes are not realistic for the other person to meet. Or they're unstated, therefore you just hope they're going to occur, and when they don't occur, you're disappointed. So we're trying to pull people into, instead of a nonverbal world, into an aware verbal world where we can communicate our feelings and then our needs.
So the statement wasn't saying this is a good thing to do. It's saying this is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's not making a value judgment. It's saying here's typical human behavior.
Right, and that behavior is triggered because of the lack of that need being met from my parents or my wife's parents in her life.
Sure.
Okay. Well, that's what I understood it to be. She said that's not what it means, and she kind of was upset, and so I want to go with the real issue, and I believe the issue is that she doesn't feel that she's being heard, that she has a voice. Because when I told her, I don't understand that sentence, let's talk about it, let's figure out what it really means, because she says, well, what it means is, that the needs that your parents met as a child, that those were things they were supposed to do, and I guess they did with her interpretation.
Well,
but see, you're doing it right. But Mike, you're doing it right now with us. I'm imagining being your wife right now, and you just dissed me. You're trying to get an explanation from Mylan, and then you just said about your wife that she really didn't get it.
No, I didn't get it.
You didn't get it?
She said she understood. I'm sorry, I'm not a very
I missed that too. I thought that you got it, and you were trying to convince her that she didn't have it.
Yeah, well, but no, I wasn't trying to convince her that maybe on an underlying issue I was, but I really didn't understood it the way she interpreted it. She was reading, and so.
But this is
I don't understand that.
Right.
So she got upset because I just wouldn't take her word as to what she was telling me it meant.
Okay, so when she gets upset, that's a good red flag for you to go, huh?
Yeah.
I need to explore. One of the steps in Mylan and Kay's book is stages in offering comfort for one another is the explore phase. It's kind of like you become Columbo or some kind of a, explore. When someone doesn't feel heard, then you dig deeper. You say, well, tell me more. I mean, what did you hear in it? What did you think about it? What did you see in that? You ask a few questions and you let them talk. That's how she's going to feel heard.
Okay, now, I tried that.
Uh-huh.
I said, honey, I says, okay, well, I says, I don't understand that. I don't understand. I said, is this what it means? Were there needs that our parents did not meet in our lives? And so you and I look to each other to fill those needs that they didn't meet.
But do you see how you're filling it in with words? She doesn't need your words. She needs you to be quiet at that point, not say anything. You just ask a question and draw her out. Tell me what you tell me what you think it means.
No right or wrong. You're just wanting input from her. And then when she tells you, then you say, oh, okay, all right. And maybe you even ask her another question about what she thinks or feels.
Okay, so I guess where I'm getting lost here is I can get how she feels. I can ask her those questions. I can draw that out. But the sentence itself is, there's a statement there, and it's regarding to the very holes that we have in ourselves that were created at a younger age. She's not acknowledging that.
Okay. Well, but you're only at page 27. I think once you get to your various love styles, it will become apparent to her. But you see, here's an important point. You do what Sherry is saying and what Steve is saying about listening to her, but let's just say in her family of origin, nobody listened to her. She was not heard. She was dismissed. She was minimized. What was important to her wasn't validated.
Other people speaking for her.
Other people speaking for her. So for you to
that was her grandmother, yes. She was raised by her grandparents.
There you go.
Okay, so for you to not get her is a repeat of somebody not getting her. And so she can feel re-wounded in a very similar way. That is another point that you'll find somewhere in the book as well. Does that make sense?
Well, I know I need
So she has
myself because I know there's lots of
that's good, Mike. But
in my past,
good.
And I just want to grow with her. I want to be able to. I want us to both go on this journey and go, wow, look what happened. Oh my gosh, this is why we're doing this and this is why we're doing that.
Good. Just be sensitive that your reactions may be similar to that which she grew up with.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm hearing a little bit of that, Mike, just even on the phone call with us. I love that you want to go on this journey. You're like a warrior, and I'm so proud of you. As a man, I'm like, look at him. He just really wants to go deep with his wife. But this is a tool that I would have you take with you. Take a pause button with you. I want you to practice pause. Pause means...
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
No, you know what I was thinking?
Pause means no words. That's grandma.
And I have a tool for you. I have a tool for you. It's called the annoyometer. And
I am annoying. There's no doubt.
Okay, so when you pause, you ask... you in your head, you try to have the annoyometer tell you how annoying you've just been. Did I speak for 3 minutes before pausing? Real high annoyance. Or did I really want to listen? I want to tell you something. Us guys, and really it is true, we want to be so right. Now combine that with we want to fix the problem. Yeah. And combine that with we really don't care what other people think. We want what we want. Now, you put that together, and we fall so short on empathy, caring, and listening. And you're hearing a female say to you, I think you really, really need to work on that. And I think it could turn things around for you. When I met Mylon, he said, I got a Ph.D. in my wife's wounds. Well, you don't get a Ph.D. in wounds by talking all the time. You have to listen. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you called.
Keep going. You're doing good work. You're doing good work.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm going to get some counseling. We're going to get together and do some counseling.
Good.
I want you to know that I think it was Dr. Cloud that it was his book that was How to Get a Date Worth Keeping.
Yes, it was.
I got it from my 19-year-old son. So
good. All right.
We're waiting for that to come in. I really appreciate you guys. Just amazing, amazing. And let me ask you, the counselors that you're connected with, are they as wise as you guys?
Wiser.
No. It varies.
Because I just need somebody that can see through the clouds.
It depends on what time zone they're in. But we do have some very, very wise counselors who are around us. So many of these people come into our New Life weekends, and they do it and participate with us, and they hear us. So I hope that you can find a wise one. We'll help you find a wise one.
You know what? And I actually
really would appreciate
You
that.
could go see Sherry. Actually, she's in Huntington Beach versus Long
Newport Beach.
Newport Beach.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
in
in
Long
Newport
Beach.
Beach.
Are you really?
She's
Yeah.
worth the drive.
I'm in Newport Beach.
All right. Not that we need to get business for you, but it's a coincidence that he's near. Mike,
Milan and Kay.
thank you for calling. We're glad that you did. And anybody else, that book, How We Love, it caused something to happen there. And if you and your wife could go through that together, it might just cause something to happen in whatever you're doing.
You know, it's really interesting because if you look at all the courses that are currently being offered to therapists for continuing education and also in their graduate studies, this field of attachment theory is just skyrocketing as the new paradigm through which we use as a lens to look at couples. And it's just taken off. It's just amazing to see all the different offerings.
The results of it have been around a long time. I mean, how many years or decades ago was that little monkey study, the rhesus monkey, where they had a dummy monkey that had milk and one didn't have milk, and the reaction and all this, how one was attached. So but now it's finally come together as a real.
Bowlby talks about that in one of his first books. He talks about those experiments and just how we're born and wired for attachment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but the field of attachment research has been, the last 60 years, and there's just so much.
All right, I want to give a scripture here that kind of sums up some stuff we're saying here.
Okay.
And this is Romans 15:7, where it says, "Therefore, accept each other, just as Christ has accepted you, so that God will be given glory." This thing of acceptance quiets you down. When you start to accept that the other person has needs, accept that they're broken, you settle down, and you don't have so much to prove. You don't have so much to convince.
Judgment goes away. Judgmental.
Your judgment goes away.
Yeah.
Condemnation.
Critical edge.
Yeah, it really does help. And when we put together New Life, we did it on 7 keys, and the second key after surrender was acceptance. Accepting the reality of God who doesn't fix everything, accepting the reality of others, and accepting the reality of yourself. And that reality of others, I mean, there's where your attachment theory breaks down, is when there isn't acceptance of you as a baby, as a child growing up, and then we tend to react to the lack of that attachment.
And I think when the Bible says to accept one another, it says to accept one another in terms of reality. Accept the real you, not the fake you, the facade you, the pretend you. But if I accept you, or you as an avoider, as a pleaser, as a vacillator, controller, victim, and as I acknowledge that, back to you, then really you don't have to protest and you don't have to deny. We can say, here's the reality now, out of which we're going to grow. Yeah. And that's how that acceptance is really important, Steve. I would agree with you.
Well, you know what I may do later on? We might go through those 7 things, and I get your reaction
That'd be
to
a good
those
idea.
7. But
We'll
right now,
accept them.
you'll accept.
We'll accept
right
those
now,
7 things.
we'll go
Nice.
to a break.